had tied and tackled. I'd pull the flats from sunrise to sunset. I would throw the fly, catch them redfish on low tide if I had time tackle.
We weren't targeting walleye, but they love the chatterbait. That Z-Man Project Z chatterbait, it's made out of fine components. This here's at least a 5-pound walleye on 10-pound mono line. I'm having a blast. My heart is racing. I think I need a Gatorade after I reeled him in. But just bringing that chatterbait in, the key is bringing it in very slowly, just dragging it along the bottom. And I'm enticing these big giants. Look at this guy. So we're gonna let him go. We're not gonna harvest them. This is a good eating walleye too. There's guys on the shoreline that are probably gonna be crying when I put him back in the water. But awesome. And my trusty fish grips, they keep your fingers safe. And I love it. Quantum smoke rod, Z-Man chatterbaits, they're good for any fish. So we're gonna let him go. And I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about how I'm fishing the chatterbait. And that's what this episode is gonna be about. Different ways to use the chatterbait and find success. Well, Mr. Walleye. Okay. Whoa. Oh my. He is in the vegetation. These guys are in shallow water. Come over here. That Z-Man Project Z chatterbait is the ticket today. And you know what? It's the ticket all year long. Throughout the seasons, the chatterbait produces just different ways to fish it. Early spring, dragging it along the bottom. These guys are right on the bottom. The sun's out. They're in about a 4-foot flat. They're just sunning themselves. So by fan casting that chatterbait, power fishing, we're finding the fish, we're finding the bass. So we're gonna let this guy go. We're having a blast. Stay tuned. I'm gonna show you different techniques on how to fish the chatterbait for success, and you'll catch fish. This thing's the Frankenbait. It catches them. Yeah, let's let him go. We're going to be fishing a chatterbait. This is a blade bait, and I want to show you a few different ways that you can fish the blade bait that you might not know. First off, it's a mix between a crankbait, a swim jig, and you get the flash of a spinner bait. So let's fish it like we would a jig, like a swim jig. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that rod up, just like you see here, and I'm going to lift the rod tip up and reel in. Lift the rod tip up and reel in. Oh, that felt like a tick. While I'm doing that, what's going to happen is it's fluttering up and it's dropping down. And we're right in a thick weed bed here. So that bladed bait is coming up and it's chattering down as it falls. And that's the jigging technique. And it's real simple. You just cast it out. Let it fall down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to bring the rod tip up. We're aiming it up in the air. We're going to reel and point up. Reel and point up. And now it's critical. You always have to feel that chatter. You'll feel that chatter coming all the way down into the rod butt. That's so you know that you're not hung up in those weeds down there. And that's what we're doing. We are jigging the chatterbait. We're not bringing it back in a steady retrieve yet. This works in cold water. Works great in the springtime. Great in the fall and winter. As the water starts to warm up, what I'll do with my blade bait, my Z-Man chatterbait, is I'll cast it out. And I like to call this, I'm trying to pick up on the tempo of what this lure needs to be fished back at. So I might just do a slow and steady, drag it along the bottom, keeping contact. Yep, I'm feeling the weeds, rip it up. Slow and steady though, slow and steady. You know, this pretty much all throughout every season, the slow and steady gets them. Now, when the water's really warm, those fish are aggressive, or you're just dealing with aggressive fish, you can cast this chatterbait out. You can almost burn it. Burn it right there in the, almost, you're fishing right under that top water column. And you'll see the fish, they'll fly up right out of the weed beds for it. Okay, bringing it back. This is still early spring, so they're not going to be hitting that one, but one other technique that you can do with the chatterbait is pretty much jig it up, let it fall down. because you're using an Elazitech Z-Man trailer on the back of it, you're going to get that vertical lift. So now, as that's just sitting there in the weed bed, it's enticing fish to bite. So there's a few different ways that you could fish the Z-Man chatterbait or any blade bait that you find out on the market. And it's a great bait. It produces throughout every season. Like I said, you know, I fish it about 80% of the time. It's my go-to bait. It's my confidence bait. I love it. So go to the store, go to Z-Man, find them on the internet. These blade baits are the way to go. Folks, time tested. We're throwing plastics, we're throwing everything under the sun, and they're going after that chatterbait, that bladed bait. We're imitating the forage. When we came in, we noticed a lot of bluegill, a lot of crappie. We're all by the boat docks. So that's the color that I chose. I chose this sunfish color that Z-Man offers. Oh, he's hooked good too. And that's the ticket for us. Big bass, bladed baits in the spring. You'd be crazy if you're not throwing them. And this Project Z chatterbait, the components are awesome. High grade mustad hook, you can't go wrong. So, I'm having a blast. Springtime, get out on, you gotta get out there, throw your bladed baits and target shallow water. We're in 3 feet of water right here. I'm throwing the chatterbait out to the boat docks, and these guys are hammering it. So, I see you out on the water, keep it real.